that, of course, is a story for another day, and I'll see you, and we'll talk about that down the road. Welcome, wrestling fans. You got the Showbill Schuyler here at One Wrestling's NXT News and Reviews, here for September 23rd, 2015. The countdown to NXT TakeOver Respect. Along with that, we have the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winding down. The players are in position. The brackets have been broken and the new ones filled, leading up to the finals, which will occur at TakeOver Respect. On a house show here in Florida, the Hype Brothers went up against Jordan and Gable this past week, and they were willing and Gable to put the beat down on the Hype Brothers, and the Hype Brothers are out of the tournament. Done. Jordan and Gable moving forward in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Again, my pick, Jordan and Gable, to be the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I've been saying it since day one, so write it down and remember, the show said it here first. With this, we had Gable and Jordan will now be facing Baron Corbin and Rhyno on October 7th at Respect. And I have all the confidence in the world that my man JJ and Chad Gable are going to take it to the big men, the so-called killers that are unstoppable. Well, I think we're going to see some self-destruction in the ring between Rhyno and Baron Corbin. That fire that they had when they were fighting each other during that feud, that hatred is still there. It's simmering and it's going. It's only going to take one mistake by one of them, a shot that hits them instead of the other guy. Something that's going to happen in that match. I can feel it in my bones. And it's going to lead to the two of them slugging it out in the ring, or one of them walking away, and it's going to leave JJ and Chad Gable one more step to being the champions of the Tag Team Classic. But I digress. We then have an interview with, who we got here? No, not yet with the interview. Excuse me, with that, we have our first match of the evening. That's going to be Finn Balor, the NXT champion, and Samoa Joe going up against, bada bing, bada boom, baddest guys in the room, Enzo and Big Cass with Carmella at their side, are facing one of the highest ranked teams in this tournament, that being the champion Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. No stranger to tag team gold, no stranger to singles gold around the world in many a different federation and organization. This was a disappointment for fans of Enzo and Big Cass, because Finn Balor and Samoa Joe were working like a fine old machine, and they took it to Enzo and they beat him down in the middle of the ring. They took the big man out of commission. They ruled the ring like ring generals, doing what they do best, beating people, hurting them, and pinning them in the middle of the ring. And that's exactly what we got here, as it was a muscle buster followed up by a coup de grace from the top rope down upon Enzo. 1, 2, and 3. Finn Balor and Samoa Joe move forward to face my second pick in this tournament, that being Dash and Dawson. Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, the Brainbusters 2.0, if you will. They are almost mirror images in their body and wrestling style as of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Watch these guys in the ring and then go back and watch the Brainbusters, or the Horsemen, if you will. But watch the Brainbusters when they were in the WWE. Watch them in their matches against Demolition, against the Hart Foundation, against the Rockers, and you'll see how these guys have studied and are that old school technical brawling, if they have to hurt you, whether they have to or not, type of wrestlers. That of Anderson and Blanchard, two of the greatest, two Hall of Famers, going up against two future Hall of Famers in Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. And the winners of that match will go up against the winners of Gable and Jordan and Corbin and Rhyno. And I feel, unfortunately, it's going to be my two picks are going to have to face each other in the ring. And that's going to be a tough decision for me to make, who I really going to want to win. But I don't care who's in the ring. Jordan and Gable, you're going to take that trophy for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic 2015, the inaugural, if you will. We then had a promo with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa talking about and being asked how they feel being here in NXT. Things not going their way, they say. They were successful at first, making it through the bracket, moving on up, and then they lost their match. But they're focused. They're not here to lose. They want to move on. And then they're interrupted by none other than the gorgeous one. Gorgeous, I believe they say. Prince Pretty. Yeah. Tyler Breeze, who interrupted them just as they were talking about Johnny Gargano's opponent for later on tonight. That being one Apollo Crews, and how they traveled the highways and the byways of the indie world with Apollo and know him very well and friends. So Tyler comes out and goes, well, you're friends with Apollo Crews, and you two idiots cost me the Tag Team Classic title. So since you're doing it, you're facing Apollo Crews, then you are going to face me. So it's going to be Ciampa versus Breeze. Feel sorry for you, Tyler. You might have bit off a little bit more than Prince Pretty can chew. We then get a Asuka vignette. And as I call her, she is the mistress of strong style, something they should use for her title. And she is just vicious with her kicks and her strikes. And they're not even showing the best. I tell you, go online, pop her up on YouTube, pop her up on dailymotion.com, put in Kana, K-A-N-A, and see how much damage and destruction she wreaks upon her opponents. She was and is feared in this business. And again, I got that whole thing mapped out. How if I was booking her, you know, you got a thing going on with Medusa Michelli right now, the Alundra Blaze, when she was in the WWE, saying that the divas, half of them can't wrestle worth a lick. She really laid into the Bellas. I think she would be a perfect heater, a mouthpiece for Asuka, with Asuka being that, like I said, almost like if you saw Kill Bill, she would be like the Yakuza female Oyaban, and she would have the translator, which would be Medusa, and she would do all the talking for her and all the damage that was going to be done, and pick her opponents and the like, and then have that whole little Japanese crew around, and basically like the Crazy 88. I don't care how you book it, it would be awesome. Awesome stuff. Either way, expect to see Medusa making her way into NXT and the main roster, trying to set these women wrestlers straight and really laying into the divas on the main roster who she's got no time for except for Natty and Paige. And she's really keen on the women like Charlotte, like Becky Lynch down on NXT that just made their leap to the main roster, Charlotte being of course the new Divas champion. But again, I'm wandering off of the tail here of what's transpired on this wrestling event on Wednesday the 23rd. After that, we get Johnny Gargano going up against Apollo Crews. Great match. Johnny Gargano, the smaller of the two, you would think he would not be able to out-wrestle and get him in predicaments. But you obviously don't know Johnny Gargano, because Johnny can wrestle. Johnny Wrestle, as he was called in the Indies. And he got him all tied up in all kinds of things and did his best to defeat Apollo Crews. But the thing is, Apollo Crews is able to do things that smaller guys like Gargano do, like standing drop kicks and high flying moves. Apollo Crews is a beast. He's a monster. He is a machine. Apollo Crews, again, as the show has predicted, will be your first black WWE World Heavyweight Champion within 3 years by the time he is age 30. And to get Apollo Crews undefeated so far in NXT. We then have a little bit of a vignette in William Regal's office, the GM, talking to Emma and Dana Brooke about what happened last week during the contract signing. They were laughing it up and having a good time and making fun of her little smile when she was humbled out and walked out of the arena, calling her a hyena. Not a hyena, but a hyena. She says that's the way she says it. And Regal's laughing with him and going along, and he's got a laptop with him. And he goes, I want to show you something. And he punches it in, and all you hear are these strikes hitting. And you hear this woman screaming. And another person screaming as they're hit. And its leg hits, and you can tell its fists, and its arms, and its elbows. And the look on their faces, the color draining away as they see that this woman they thought was nothing special, Asuka, is a complete and utter monster in the ring. And Regal tells her that you're going to face her, Dana Brooke, next week at TakeOver. Respect. And her partner Emma, well, Emma just kind of pats her on the back, basically says, paraphrase it, sucks to be you, or better you than me, something to that effect. Walked away. And Miss Dana Brooke looks none too happy, because she's about ready to get her whole body caved in by Asuka. Live, if you will. Live on the network. $9.99 if you don't got it. Free if it's your first time signing up. Do not miss NXT TakeOver. And I am not going to run down the list of TakeOver. You want to do something, do your own little homework and find out who's facing who and for what. I'll tell you about one particular match before this review is over. And other than the tag team ones that I've already told you about, mum's the word when it comes to me. We then had Dana Brooke and Emma going up against the two Aussies, Peyton Royce and Billy Kay. Of course, we actually got 3 Australians here, as Emma is from down under as well. But it's not the way they're really pushing out here. Peyton and Billy are getting better and better every week. And they, if you've noticed right here, they're tag teaming and they're working their tag team together like a team. Pay attention a little further and you'll notice that their outfits are matching. Two colors in their outfits, opposite colors. You know, say white on top, orange on bottom, and vice versa. Is this the beginning of a tag team division for the women in NXT? Because they got a whole lot of women down there training, trying to make their way up to NXT, and having a women's tag team division with a title would be outstanding. And I would love to see them bring that up to the main roster and have a women's tag team division going there. Again, it's been many a year. But again, that's just me reading into a match that was, for all intents and purposes, good. Just good. Good, solid tag team match. Your winners, of course, were Dana and Emma. And you still have to say that the two youngsters here, Royce and Kay, are going to be, something to be focused on in this women's tag team division that appears to be growing. We then get a backstage interview with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, and they're going on talking about this opponent they got rid of and not worrying about this one. And they made a comment about Dash, and well, Dawson, and who was there to interrupt them and step forward? No less would be Dash and Dawson, and they were making fun of Jordan and Gable, and basically saying that they were going to get gored. And let's see that basically what is it was funny. They said the tag team tournament for you guys at Respect is going to be the end of days. They called that down right clear. That was pretty funny. We then get Tommaso Ciampa going up against Tyler Breeze. And this, again, a solid, good match. Tyler Breeze obviously found out that Tommaso Ciampa is not someone to go over lightly. That Tommaso Ciampa came within that edge of winning this match. But Tyler Breeze would defeat him via what I'm calling a modified unprettier. If you recall, when Christian Cage was in TNA, the switch hold, his finisher, if you will, he called that the unprettier, because it smashed your face right in the ground, and that's what Prince Pretty did to Tommaso Ciampa for the win. We get another Nia Jax vignette, of course. Eventually, hopefully she's going to make her appearance next week at TakeOver. We get Rhyno and Corbin in a promo and telling everybody that basically you were looking at the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. There was nothing more to discuss. And the show ended with a massive, huge vignette, promo, what you want to call it, mini documentary of the feud between Bayley and Sasha Banks, leading up through Bayley's championship win, going to their match, which, as I told you, I was going to tell you, wow, one single match at TakeOver that was important, and that would be the main event, which is going to be the first time ever a 30-minute Iron Man match for the women's title in NXT between Bayley and the former champion, the boss, Sasha Banks. That alone is going to be worth your money and your time. It's going to be probably one of the candidates for sure for match of the year. It's going to be a tough one to beat. And with that, there's no real news out there in the hemisphere for NXT. No new players coming on board that I haven't already mentioned last week. With that, I tell you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment below, let me know what you think about me, about the show, what you thought about NXT, what you think TakeOver is going to be like, what your picks might be, who you think is going to win this tag team classic. And follow me on Twitter at UGOTDASHOW. You got the show. Follow the Big Slam Nations. All of us here. My tag team partners. Big Ray at Big Ray Show. Billy Ray at Billy Ray Hustle. Billy Ray Valentine. You know him. Take care of it. Hit him up. Follow him. The Professor Quintana at PROFPW Hustle. The Pharaoh of Fancy, 8-Track Brown, the dirtiest in the city. And Fame Black at Fame Black. And to the man, the master, the guru of wrestling, the icon himself, Bill Apter at Apter1 Wrestling. Follow him at the Apter Chat on YouTube. And get his new book on October 13th. It hits the shelves. Is Wrestling Fixed? I didn't know it was broken. And a little more of a shout out for you, Mr. Apter. Bill, my friend. Bill Apter has made his appearance. Dropped this week on Talk Is Jericho's podcast. Bill Apter. The whole show. Him and Jericho talking about the book and all kinds of things and behind the scenes in pro wrestling. Entertaining is all get out. Check it out. You will enjoy it. And with that, I am the show, and I will see you down the road.